Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock God Rick Maxa.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. If you didn't catch the first hour, we've been having all kinds of fun. Pete Gray not joining us in the studio because he's up at Katmai Lodge getting ready to get in on some amazing fishing. Our Let's Talk Hookup trip to Katmai is kicking off today, so we're excited to hear about his fishing tomorrow when they wrap up the first day of fishing. But, boy, in studio today, are we really doing it right? Captain Mark Gillette from the Eclipse, from the Commander, is in here. We're talking all kinds of great fishing, and there is so much good fishing going on right now, and we're going to jump right into it, find out what's going on. We got the catch report coming up, all kinds of great info coming your way. And if you want to be a part of Let's Talk Hookup in the second hour, there's 2 phone lines that you can reach us. 858 area code 457-1090. That's our local number. Easiest to get through, 858-457-1090. Or reach us on our toll-free line. There is one toll-free number available right now. That's 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. Not only going to be taking your phone calls, not only is Captain Mark Gillette going to be answering your questions, we've also got an awesome prize for one lucky caller at the end of the show today, and that's a chance to go fishing aboard the Commander on an overnight trip. Somebody's going to get to go fishing on an awesome boat just for calling and being a part of Let's Talk Hookup, and we're sure appreciative of Mark and Chris for donating such a cool trip for one of our lucky callers. Again, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. And with that, it's time to find out what's biting out there. It is time for the Catch Report today, sponsored in part by the Sato Crimp and Winder Company, where they only make products that work. If you want to end connection failures, you need the Sato Crimp Kit. It's a must-have piece of gear for your trip to help you catch everything from school-sized tuna to record-sized tuna. And with all brass crimps and other features, it's better than ever. It's the favorite connection method on the Royal Star, the Royal Polaris, the American Angler, and most of the other top boats. And if you haven't already, you should make it your preferred connection from Spectra to Mono or to fluorocarbon. You can get it at selected tackle stores like Fisherman's Landing Tackle or at SatoCrimpandWinder.com. And we're going to be starting off this morning all the way up at Whalers Cove. We got John on the line. Good morning, John.
Well, good morning, Rick. Before I give you a fishing report, I have to tell you a story.
I'm ready.
There's a young man. His name is Connor. He listens to your show. He just graduated high school, and his grandmother asked him, well, what would you like for a graduation present? He said, I want to go fishing. And, of course, she figured it was probably Catalina or somewhere like that. But he said, no, I want to go to Whalers Cove Lodge because I listen to Let's Talk Hookup and hear all about Whalers Cove Lodge. So the family came up here for 4 days last week, and, my gosh, did they have a great trip. Connor caught big Alaska halibut. He caught salmon. He caught rockfish. And his dad released a 71-inch halibut that won him the 2-for-1. So they'll be coming back to Whalers Cove Lodge, but you've got a faithful listener there that came up here and had the time of his life.
Well, that is an awesome story. And, Connor, if you are listening today, congratulations. What a cool trip, and what an awesome way to celebrate graduating. That's awesome. Congrats. That's really cool, John.
Oh, yeah, and we're also seeing some really cool nature in addition to the fantastic fishing. The other day, a couple of pods of orcas came around, and some of the boats just shut down and let the orcas come around. And while some people think it affects the fishing, it really doesn't. There's so many fish here, it doesn't matter. It's just really cool to see those whales and to see the humpback whales. And yesterday, I went up to Parker Point, and there was about 50 eagles in the air, and they were swooping down on these massive schools of herring. And I've seen things like this before, but not to this degree. It was just absolutely amazing. And, of course, we're catching lots and lots of big halibut. The winner last night was a 71-inch halibut as well. So it's been typically a 70-plus inch halibut to win the 2-for-1. There's a lot of big halibut around, and the salmon just showed up a few days ago. I had 22 salmon on my boat yesterday. And also, I had a guy on the boat after we got a bunch of salmon. I said, hey, let's go and do some light action jigging. So I brought out my 8-foot light action jig rods with a 4-ounce jig, and we were jigging up rockfish, and one guy hooked a salmon, and another fella hooked up on a halibut that we had to release, played it for 25 minutes, and he said, I really like this light action jigging. So we had a ball yesterday.
That's awesome. Well, gosh, and there it is. That's the reason why we go up to such a beautiful place like Whalers Cove. It's the fishing, it's the experience, it's the wilderness, the whole nine. And John, can't wait for our trip coming up here, really just around the corner, a few more weeks. If somebody wants to go do exactly what you're talking about, do what Connor just did, go catch a big one, how do we find you guys at Whalers Cove?
Well, you can go to whalerscovelodge.com. That's whalerscovelodge.com. Or you can call Jay at the reservation line. It's 1-800-423-3123. That's 1-800-423-3123. We're already booking for 2017 and 18, so get your trip booked now before it's too late.
All right, John, great report. Sure appreciate that, and look forward to talking to you next week and seeing you just a couple weeks after that.
All right, thanks.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Hey, it's time now for our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish, is on the line with that fishdope.com report. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Mark. Well, guys, another excellent week offshore here.
So cool. This is so cool.
It is so cool, dude. But excellent weather and so many opportunities to catch a big fish. Let me start out at the islands there. Good summertime fun over at Catalina Island. A little bit of excessive boat pressure after the holiday weekend here, but that's just the way it is. Nice mix of bass, bonita, barracudas around, and a good sprinkle of small and medium-sized yellows scattered just about everywhere at the island. And there's still some squid backside east and backside west. The bait grounds are what's holding those bigger yellows and bigger sea bass. And there's been some tanker-grade sea bass here. Still at Catalina, San Clemente Island, very excellent opportunity there. Big yellows, big sea bass, big halibut. Man, it's really good fishing at that island right now. Definitely the headline zone. Mostly backside west, the kelp lines and bait grounds from below West Cove, down off the dunes and all the way down to Eel. And then also another area around the front there, front side middle's been pretty good. Take your heavy gear, guys, man. A lot of that yellow on the bait grounds, man. There's some tankers, and they're tearing up tackle. SBI, still some squid, yellows, and sea bass there. Unfortunately, it's in the wind. The wind is coming up. Probably not a good choice this weekend here locally. Some really good news from the horseshoe kelp right here in my backyard. Good water moved in. Big barracuda moved in right with it. We haven't seen much of those guys in the last few years, so I hope they stay all summer long because I love them. They're, being in the tackle business, they tear up plastic gear, so we love them guys. But they're biting, and they're big ones, man. And my favorite way to catch that big barracuda is just a long cast and a slow wind with like a Tatty C single hook. Those barracudas love to bite the iron. Sand bass, calico bass mixed in, and a few big good grade yellows to keep it all interesting there on a horseshoe. Offshore, things are changing fast, looking a little more traditional here now. Much more yellowfin showing up, kind of down the beach there. Double 220 into the 238 is kind of one zone. There's others. School-sized fish with good grade yellows on the kelps, and big yellows on the kelps, actually, and a few dorados. So it's definitely looking like summertime. Those big bluefins are still around. The area is spread out a little bit. Outside the 43, 289 mackerel bank on the outside's all got some fish, and then between the 182 and the 9 Mile bank up to the 312 on the inside. And that inner zone yesterday, like 18 off Oceanside, that produced what I believe is the biggest of the year, a 262-pound bluefin on a popper. Holy crap, guys, right here in our backyard. That's just, and somebody is going to land one of them 300-pounders that's been jumping around. And then, so congratulations, those guys. That's just a tremendous catch. I think it was 3 guys for 3 hours to get that one.
I'm with you, and I wanted to say something. I'm glad you brought up Greg Comments, who's a good buddy of mine and long-range fisherman. And he had 3 guys in a 19-foot skiff, got it in an hour and a half with a Trinidad 40, and he said they all tag teamed it. But how about that? How about a 262 on a popper in a 19-foot skiff? And that's what's going on this year. I mean, those are the things that a guy has access to catching, and I know Greg does a good job and a good fisherman, and those guys pull real hard, and they got presented with the right fish, and they got that sucker.
Yeah, that literally is shocking that's right here in the backyard.
It's so rad.
And then, also this week, another tropical player showed up. Maybe not quite the headline stuff like we've been seeing, but the hammerheads are starting to show up and get caught. And that makes it look more like last year because we had a plethora of hammerheads last year. Those things were a freaking nuisance. But with those hammerheads around, that's just one more player making it look like last year. And last year, like you know, guys, it was just off the charts, man. Nothing short of fantastic. So I think we're in for it. I think you guys should go fishing.
I couldn't agree more. Well said, Mark. If somebody wants to get more information, come find you. How do we find you, Pacific Edge?
We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger and Huntington Beach, and phone number at the store, area code 714-840-4262. The website, PacificEdgeTackle.com. And, hey, Ricky, I just want to comment on your comment here a couple weeks ago. You were talking about a Terramar 80H and a Tranks for being the perfect outfit for throwing a popper.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh, my God. I was shocked. I was throwing one of those last weekend, and oh, my God, you are so right, dude. That was awesome.
It's like they were meant to be.
They were meant to be.
That's cool, Marco. I'm glad to hear it, and I hope that this is the week that you guys knock down another 262 on the ride down here.
Oh, that would be something.
Mark, appreciate a great report as always. I know you always put so much work into the fishdope.com reports, filling Danny in with all your buddies and what you're doing, and it's a great opportunity to stay in tune with what's going on. And if you aren't a member of Fish Dope, you got to get on it. That's where the information happens. And right now, with entering the code Hookup Now, you can save $20 on a new membership. Again, just when you're checking out, all lowercase, no space, punch in Hookup Now. Going to save you $20 on Fish Dope. Mark, great job, great report, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
You got it, Ricky. We'll see you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. Now let's head on over to C4 Sport Fishing, the home of the Eclipse and the Commander when they're down in SD, and talk to Marcos. Marcos, what's going on at C4?
Good morning, guys. I think you got a little taste of what's happening there. It's definitely come up since last week, that fish count there. And we'll start with the half day yesterday afternoon. New Seaforth, 13 yellowtail and 7 bonito, 28 calico bass they kept, and 2 rockfish. That's some good half-day fishing. And again, when you see that 28 calico bass, they probably caught just as many, if not more, that were short and released them there. And that's become kind of a trend since that calico bass size limit went up there. So sometimes that fish count doesn't reflect how good that fishing is, because catching a 13-inch calico bass is still fun, just because you can't keep it. You know, like 3 years ago, it still would have been a keeper. So
no doubt.
Very good fishing on there. San Diego finally came alive yesterday. 17 anglers had 53 yellowtail, had 4 barracuda, and then some good rock fishing in there. They had 48 rockfish and 37 reds, and that's a nice mix there on that trip there. So good fishing on both the half day, 3/4 day. Those overnight trips starting to catch some fish also, starting to see some yellowtail, seeing occasional yellowfin in the count there, bonita and the like also on those trips. So lots of fishing all around there. The weather's not as hot as it was a few weeks ago, but it's definitely nice weather now. So check the website, seaforthlanding.com. Have lots of options up there. Half day, 3/4 day, those overnights, day and a half. Some of the boats are trying to run their 2-day and longer trips there. So check the website, seaforthlanding.com. You can make reservations straight on the website there. You can call us at the office, 619-224-3383. You can always visit us down here. Stop by, get a rock cod Rick Rex burrito, say hi, and go spend some money on barracuda jigs in the tackle shop.
I like it, man. That all sounds like a good scenario to me, Marco. Certainly good fishing going on. We appreciate a great report, and look forward to talking next Saturday.
And hopefully I have a better count for you than that.
That's awesome, Marcos. Appreciate that very much. Thanks a lot. We'll look forward to talking to you then. Time to hit up Northern Baja. We got the man, Rick Jensen from Sport Fishing Financial. Always keeps us on the loop of what's going on down south. What's up, Rick?
Hey, how you doing, Rick? Mark?
Hey, Rick. Great. Good morning. What's going on in Northern Baja?
Well, Mulegé and Bahia Concepcion still continues to have lots of life around in the bay. Bigger snappers are there, the rooster fish, and lots of whale sharks hanging around. Up at Punta Chavado, the Dorado numbers continue to increase. Nothing really big yet, but more of them starting to fill in, so probably heading up the line there, maybe see them in Bay of LA soon. At cool. Bahia Ascension, no recent reports, but there's a local tournament scheduled for this weekend, so if you're interested in heading to that area and seeing some of the local culture with a local tournament, that could be fun. At Cedros, the yellowtail, the threshers, the calico, and the marlin are still around. It's a couple marlin sightings, so looks like the guys that are getting in there and getting all over the yellowtail with the red crabs around and the calico on the bite. Things are starting to heat up big time at Cedros. Bay of LA, there's bait still in the bay. Chapria reports have been better. Plenty of bigger yellowtails. Yellowtails reported up to 40 pounds. And next weekend, again, another tournament. The Pesca de Baja will be there and stops for the weekend and along their tour there next weekend. Up at San Quintin, as Castman mentioned earlier, sounds like he's having fun. I guess the yellowtail bite's been pretty darn good there the last few days, and knocking down 17 of them on the surface for him yesterday. Sounds like things are going well there with Captain Juan. And then up at Ensenada, yellowfin and the bluefin tuna are starting to fill in a little more sightings, a lot more show than go on the local banks. Yellowtail are starting to settle into the kelps and scattered throughout the bay, and a little bit around Todos Santos. So the entire Baja has some nice weather, mild days, and great fishing up and down the coast. Get on down there.
Man, that's awesome, Rick. What a great report. Appreciate that. And what about you? What's going on with Sport Fishing Financial? Anything fun and exciting that our listeners might be able to join you and partake in?
Yeah, we've got a lot of open trips available on the Pacific Vision. It's a luxury swordfisher that we're running this year out of Mission Bay, and you know, we've got open party trips, and you can schedule a charter. So, you know, for clients and interested people that are interested in working with us, a good place to go out and have our first meeting or our annual or quarterly meeting. So come out and join us for a fishing trip.
That's awesome, Rick. Well, if somebody wants to partake in that, get some more information about Baja, or better yet, good idea of how to have their finances work for them, how do we find you at Sport Fishing Financial?
On the web, sportfishingfinancial.com, or on the phone line, 949-481-1807.
All right, Rick. Great job. Appreciate you compiling all that info out of Baja for us, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
All right, Rick, thanks a lot. Well, that is going to wrap up our catch report today. Again, sponsored by Gamakatsu Hooks, Japan's leading fish hook that sets the standard for quality and innovation, strength and durability. The local tuna and yellowtail fishing is happening right now. We've been talking about it all morning, and you got to make that Gamakatsu Nautilus hook your go-to hook. It has the strength and durability as well as the right design to make it easy to pin on a bait but put your fish on the deck. You can get Gamakatsu Nautilus hooks at your favorite tackle store. And when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, a big block of information with Captain Mark Gillette. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
If you are ready to experience a real Alaska fishing adventure, check out Whalers Cove Lodge in Angoon, Alaska. The calm waters around Whalers Cove are 100 miles from any large towns, so you will enjoy a wilderness adventure without any crowds. Whalers Cove Lodge has some of the best salt and freshwater fishing in Alaska, and there is no need for a bumpy boat ride for hours. You can find productive fishing for salmon, halibut, and rockfish just 10 minutes from the lodge. Whalers Cove also offers fantastic freshwater fishing in wilderness streams for wild salmon and trout. The Whalers Cove experience will fulfill your wildest Alaska dreams on the calm water of the Inside Passage or on a spectacular stream. It's your choice every day at the Whalers Cove Lodge. After fishing, you will dine on fabulous meals created daily by the Whalers Cove chefs and relax in your comfortable room or cabin. Learn more about this exciting Alaska destination on their website at whalerscovelodge.com or call 800-423-3123. Whalers Cove Lodge, a real Alaskan fishing adventure.
The giant fast lane kayaks in Mission Bay is hard to miss. Right in the middle of Dana Landing across from SeaWorld in Mission Bay. This massive 5,500 square foot location is loaded with Hobie Mirage Drive kayaks and more, including a great selection of Hobie clothing, stand-up paddleboards, paddles, and more. Check the latest from Hobie, the Eclipse, taking fitness out of the gym and onto the water. Test a new Eclipse kayak or stand-up paddleboard free right out their back door on Mission Bay. When it comes to Hobie, no one does it better than the crew at Fastlane at Dana Landing across from SeaWorld in Mission Bay. Check FastlaneSailing.com.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels. With the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities, Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWormerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest. No matter the fishing conditions, count on the Seagar family of fluorocarbon leader material to help you catch more fish. Fluoro Premier has a smaller diameter with the highest break strength. Plus, it is super soft. When bites are tough, tie on Fluoro Premier. Blue Label is tough as nails with incredible abrasion resistance and impact strength. And new Pink Label is the choice for tough light conditions, giving you a little more visibility for better line control. Pick up a spool of Seagar at your favorite tackle dealer or visit seagar.com.
Are you feeling that itch to get out on the water? Come fishing on the American Angler and reacquaint yourself with some familiar faces and make new friends. Captain owners Brian Kiyohara and Sam Patella take pride in every aspect of the American Angler operation, from their loyal and trusted crew to the sashimi-grade fresh fish you'll take home. It's easy to find a vacation that fits your schedule. We have everything from day-and-a-half to 10-day trips and longer. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. We want you to become a part of the American Angler family.
XEPRS 1090 AM Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the 2016 All-Star Game. San Diego's sports leader, the Mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Again, if you want to get through, been a very busy morning, having a great time talking to Captain Mark Gillette from the Eclipse, 858-457-1090. That's our local line, or reach us toll free, 877-792-1090. Phones are absolutely packed up, but we're going to talk to him, and we're going to talk to a guy that I think is probably very familiar with your boat, the Eclipse. We got Gary Black is on the line right now. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, you guys. I just was looking at the picture on Facebook of you two. You make a good team.
Thanks, Gary.
Definitely have a lot of fun.
What Mark forgot to mention when he's talking about the boat is the people are taken aback by the room down below. They go down to put their gear away if they haven't been on it on those aft bunks on either side, and they've got to be 7 foot by 6.5 foot wide. And they come back up and ask what's going on, and Mark forgot to mention that Bob Fletcher finished that boat. He bought it about halfway built from Russ Iser. I found it, told Bob about it, and Bob was able to finish it with those high overheads. Bob, I believe, is 6'4".
Bob's not a small guy.
Boat, he always said, if I ever get to build a boat, it's going to have high overheads and big bunks. And he did that. And consequently, the boat has those clearings and length to the bunks and widths in the back end there.
It is comfortable like many others. You know, it's almost in a class of its own. And you're right, Gary, and I know you're very, very familiar with that ride.
Oh, yeah, I miss it. Big bluefin up here biting. I can't get out on the ocean right now due to my back problems, but I wish I was there casting those crazy poppers. Oh.
Well, we'd love to have you out anytime, Gary. For the listeners out there who don't know, Gary owned the boat for, how many years did you own it? Was it 3 or 4 years there you had it?
83 till 90, I believe.
I was close.
Bob sold it because he became the assistant deputy director of the fishing game, and he had to get rid of the boat in 90 days. Not get rid of it, but divest himself of it, and 3 of us started bidding on it, and I ended up with it in 1983, fully booked. He had it fully booked, but had to get out of it.
Wow, that's cool, Gary. Well, we sure appreciate the call, and I know it's a beautiful boat, and I know that you had a lot to do with that, and we're glad you're listening, and hopefully the back feels better. You can go pull on one of those cows here soon.
Or it'll pull me over, but Mark and Chris do an excellent job keeping those boats looking sharp. I like them for that alone, just that they keep the boats looking great.
Yeah, I know she means a lot to you.
Guys.
Thanks,
nice
Gary.
To
Appreciate the phone call very much. That was a lot of fun. Hey, let's find out. We got a lot of great stuff going on. We're going to go live right now to the new Loanne. Captain Marcus Medak is on the line. Good morning, Marcus.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Marcus.
Doing fantastic. Boy, talking about this great fishing, and boy, along with that, I know the new Loanne, I know you guys, really been working hard at catching those big bluefins and have just been on a roll lately.
Yeah, we've been looking at these things for the last couple of months, and it's been, on a sport boat, honestly, it's been frustrating fishing for us. It hasn't been our style fishing. They haven't been responding to the chum at all, and it's been run and gun kind of stuff, and, we're not the fastest ride out there. Not any of us are. It's just, it's tough. A lot of times they go down before we get there. We get some shots, but looks like things are shifting around in our favor. We were out here a couple times this last week, and we had some real good shots here. The fish are starting to hang around the boat. They're they're biting bait. Last trip we hooked them on mackerel, sardines, jigs, yo-yo type jigs like flat falls. They were, it was a real deal kind of fishing. It's pretty freaking awesome. Today we're out kelp patty fishing. We have like a family charter kind of thing, so we're not on the bluefin grounds here today. But we will be going and trying it again tomorrow. Be leaving here tonight on a day-and-a-half trip fishing for those big bluefin. But it's, I think honestly, and I spent a long time long-range fishing. I think I saw I think I've seen a couple of the biggest tuna I've ever seen in my life here this season. It's really, it's amazing.
It's unreal, and I know that you had a fantastic score earlier in the week, and it seems like that fish is starting to get in line and be, like, just like you said, it's starting to be right for our sport boat fishing. And tell us about the great catch you had earlier in the week.
Well, we had a couple of pretty good ones, I think. We had earlier in the week, I took just myself and the crew, we went out fishing because we didn't want to pass up the opportunity. We didn't really have any people to go, so we went out. We had, I caught my personal best. I got a 195. One of my guys got a 230. We had another, like, 130 pounder, so that was pretty cool. And then our last trip, we had passengers on the boat, and we had a couple of decent shots. We had 4 fish early in the morning before daylight or right at daylight. And then we had a really good evening bite. Classic bluefin sundowner. Been seeing a lot of fish. We're kind of being patient, waiting them out. And they weren't really biting, but as the lights started getting a little bit lower, they came up, started boiling around the boat. Great big freaking Volkswagens jumping back there in the stern. It was pretty freaking awesome. And they started biting, heavy line. Our first round, we hooked them on 40 and 50 pound because we've been seeing a lot of that 65 to 75 pound fish around the boat late in the afternoon there, and I hadn't seen any of the big ones, so I told the guys they could go ahead and drop down to lighter line. We lost some of those first ones. We got some of them. Most of them were that 65, 70 pound fish, and then as it got darker, the fish got bigger. But by the time it was all said and done, I think we ended up landing a dozen fish out of that evening thing, and they were all, I weighed them up back at the dock. The smallest one we landed was 65 pounds. The biggest one was 195. We lost a couple other ones right up there around the 200-pound class for sure, no doubt about it. And I think we had 3 fish over 100 pounds. And it was, it was real deal good fishing. You get a bait that swim and you freaking hooked one.
That is so cool. I don't think the opportunity at catching a trophy bluefin has ever been as good as it is right now. Just like we've been saying all morning, every time you step on a boat that leaves out of San Diego, you have a shot at catching a cow. You've got a legitimate shot at catching one of those. Marcus, just an awesome trip. Congratulations. I know you guys have been spending a lot of time doing the big bluefin thing, and glad to hear that you're continuing on with it. One more time, give us the info if somebody wants to come join you and have a shot at one of these big giants. When are you heading out next on the new Loan?
We're heading out tonight on a day-and-a-half trip, and I know we got plenty of room. That's what we're going to be doing. There's some pretty good yellowtail kelping to be had right now, and that's cool. It's fun fishing for sure, but we just don't get shots of big bluefin like this. I'm going to take the opportunity. We're putting our time in. If we think we've got a chance at getting some of those big cows, we're going to be doing it. As long as it's something that guys have a chance of hooking them when we're drifting and sport boat style fishing. That's what we're going to be doing. Fish are so freaking awesome. I just love them.
That's cool, Marcus. Well, we sure appreciate that. Appreciate you keeping us up to date. If somebody does want to book that trip and go fishing at a Point Loma Sport Fishing with you, how do we do it?
Just call the landing, 619-223-1627, or just on the website, pointlomasportfishing.com. You can do it right there online. We've got day-and-a-half trips throughout the week here. Tonight and then a couple nights from now, and there's room on all of them, and we're going on all of them. And like I said, we're going to be targeting those bluefin. That's what we're going to be doing.
That's awesome.
Our fish counts probably aren't going to be as good as some of the others. I know that and accept that, but we're going to be fishing for big fish.
Going trophy hunting.
It's probably going to be the biggest bluefin you ever caught in your life.
I love it. Marcus, great job. Appreciate that. Congratulations on a couple of great scores, and we'll look forward to hearing how you do next week.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you next weekend.
All right, Marcus.
Or maybe tomorrow.
Hopefully
I'm too busy to call in tomorrow.
We appreciate that very much. Appreciate the phone call. And here's a guy that I know is very familiar with this local fishing, and that's Captain Frank Lopresti. And Frank, can you ever remember a time when there was such shots at catching these trophy bluefins like this? This is just so cool.
Absolutely not. There was a few years way back where there was some 700-800 pounders that came through, and then a seiner got a good portion of those up off Santa Barbara Island. And then there was a period there at Guadalupe. I remember when Phil Tozier caught one that was over 300 at Guadalupe Island, and there was some big bluefin to be had there. I'm sure you remember that. You were probably wearing diapers. I just wanted to call and apologize for the fact I jumped the gun on the Liberty. It ended up that there was just too many little things to be done, and we had to cancel last Friday. There was things like, just we only had things where we had one coat of varnish on, and they wanted 3 coats. Just a million little things.
Sure.
And we're reasonably certain that we're ready now. Charles is going to take the boat out one day this week with just the crew and, have the galley help there, have them cooking in the galley and just make sure everything is prime. And the plans are right now to run Friday morning, 5:30 a.m. departure. Where we're going to go fishing, we're not sure. We're going to go wherever the fishing's best. As you probably know, Booger had a very good day at the Coronados yesterday, so we may, if that continues, we may fish the Coronados. If not, we'll be offshore. So that's the plan right now, Friday morning at 5:30 a.m. Hopefully will be our inaugural trip there, okay?
Well, we're really excited about that, Frank. And if somebody wants to join you, we've had multiple calls early this morning, guys talking about wanting to be on that first trip on the Liberty, knowing how much hard work Taro and the boys put into it. How do we book the trip? Is it done through the landing, through the website? What's the best way to get on that first trip on the Liberty?
Either way, through the website or call Fisherman's Landing, 221-8500, and they'll be glad to take care of you, okay?
That's awesome, Frank. Well, we're really excited. Can't wait. I know that I'm definitely going to be down there bright and early Friday morning, and we're really looking forward to it. I can't wait. I know how much work you and Taro and everybody involved, Chuck and all the guys, Dean, put into that boat, and it turned out so beautiful, and I can't wait to see her get off the dock and run that first trip.
Well, I feel the same way. Well, all right, very good, Rick.
We're excited, Frank. Thanks a lot for the phone call. Thanks for keeping us up to date. Phones are absolutely packed solid. We're jumping into them right now, and why don't we start it off with Don? He's calling us from Woodland Hills this morning. Don, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hey, Rick, Mark, thanks for taking my call. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, my question is for both of you, but probably closer to you, Rick. What's the difference in the Power Pro product versus the Max Quattro? I know that you can get, it's 25%, smaller in diameter, but are there any pros and cons to using one versus the other?
Both of them are good lines overall. So in the grand scheme of things, neither one is a poor decision for the other, but both of them offer a couple of unique things. Max Quattro basically is just made with they found a new fiber that is skinnier and just as strong. The pro to that obviously is it's smaller diameter. So the 80-pound is the size of 65 and vice versa. So you can get more of it on the reel. I think original Power Pro obviously is what we've been using forever. It's very strong. It's a great backing. It's a good round castable line. It's lesser expensive. I like the standard traditional Power Pro, the great original least expensive and great line in all of my kelp cutter type scenarios. I fish a lot of sea bass and yellowtail in the kelp line, and I'm still certain that is the very best line for a kelp cutter rig. I think that you feel the texture. It's almost gritty. I think it's the very best one for that. Max Quattro is a very good casting line, and I think it's really good if you were setting up a reel for, what's going on right now, those big poppers and big tuna where you want a line that you can cast, and you're trying to fish a reel for a popper, a flat fall, or something that's small and comfortable to hang on to, but with that comes lack of line capacity, and Max Quattro is one of the things that really helps solve that problem. So if you're starting from scratch, the best thing to do is just go into a good local tackle store, explain to the guys, this is the type of fishing I'm doing right now, this is the type of fishing I do the most of, whether you're on a private boat or if you're going fishing on the Eclipse, because you might want to set up the top shots different. If you said, hey, I fish with Mark, once a month, and I do a lot of sport boat trips, we would probably recommend a little bit longer top shot, a little easier for you to deal with amongst other guys, a little more stretch while being on a big boat. And if you were fishing in a skiff, we might fill that whole thing full of Max Quattro and just fish a 2-foot piece of heavy Seagar fluorocarbon. So every scenario is a little bit different, but that would be the main difference between the two lines there, Don.
Hey, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You got to appreciate that very much. Charlie in La Mirada, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, good morning, Rock Hot Rick, and I know Pete's in Alaska, so kind of two parts to my question here. First of all, my son is out in Kodiak now, and they've been doing really well with the slot guy. He sent me quite a few pictures. So I'm happy for that, and happy to hear Pete's report. And my second question is, Rick, we're on this. My friend and I, Dave, are on this Let's Talk Hookup trip that leaves on the Searcher on Monday and Tuesday.
Nice.
And I was wondering for any tackle recommendation.
What would you say, Mark, going on a trip right now, offshore, what's a guy need to take to have himself properly set up as far as tackle goes?
You want a 30-pound outfit for live bait, and you want a 40-pound live bait outfit, and I would have a 50-pound for fishing the flat falls. And you probably want something, for fishing poppers and stuff. I don't know how much they're going to target that, so you might want to call their office, because they may decide that they don't want to target that big fish, and if they just want to concentrate on the yellowfin and the dorado and the yellowtail on kelps as well. So you might want to call the office and find out what the skipper's game plan is for the trip too, and they'll give you a little more insight to that.
That's always a really good call because you're right. I mean, whether a trip goes coastal or does what Marcus was talking about, go and fish big bluefin, your tackle could vary quite a bit.
Yeah, it can, and but like Marcus is saying, hey, we're going to go target big fish. So he's letting you guys know what kind of tackle you need to bring just by saying that. For us right now, we're going to be targeting the yellowfin and the dorado and the yellowtail on kelp. So
gotcha.
for on the Eclipse, you're going to want your 30 and 40-pound outfits within a 50-pound for the flatfall. That's what you're going to want to have with you. But so I would find out from their office directly what their skipper's game plan is.
I like your idea on having a 50-pound outfit, maybe a 2-speed, something like that for your flatfall fishing, because then too, a good, you have a Talica 12 or a Talica 16 full of Power Pro and a 50-pound top shot, and you get into that, you might be going kelp patty fishing and find a breezer of those 100-pound tuna. You've still got a rod and reel that is 100% going to keep you in the driver's seat.
Oh, they're around too.
Yeah.
They're around. They are where you find them. It's not like X marks the spot, and that's where the bluefin are. I mean, they move up and down and all around, and they can show up any place, so you always want to be ready for them.
That's what's so fun about the fishing that you're talking about doing right now, that kelp patty, fish, you're going to run into what you run into. Breezer's a fish. You find a big school, you find a log floating somewhere, and it's got a bunch of dorado on it. You kind of never know what's next on the horizon. That's some of my favorite fishing.
Oh, you might find, some of those smaller 50 and 60-pound bluefin.
Oh, yeah, the small
80
ones.
Pounds,
that little fish.
Yeah.
You ready to go, Charlie?
Looking forward to it, guys. Thank
Hey,
you for taking my call.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. How about next up we talk to Cliff. He's calling us from Santa Barbara this morning. Hi, Cliff. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing great, Cliff. Good morning.
Good. I want to thank the skipper of the Eclipse for giving me my trip of a lifetime last year. I got my big bluefin tuna. It was 200 pounds.
Woo!
On the flat fall. Heavy string, 100 pounds, all the way. Because, let me tell you, you hook one of them big fish, you're going to be for a ride of your life.
Yeah.
It took 2 hours. It took the skipper to get up on the bow and did the last fight of my fish, and they had to put 3 gaps in it, and that's when I knew it was a big fish. Thanks to the Eclipse, thanks to the crew. You guys are the best. I'll ride you until I can't ride no more.
Thanks, Cliff. We appreciate that very much.
Cliff, is there a better feeling than watching that fish come over the rail after you pulled on one that hard? I mean, there's just nothing like it.
Nothing like it. My goal was just, 100 pounds was fine, but 200, I was not expecting that. Not expecting that at all. But I listened to the skipper. The skipper was saying the trip before we went that they had got into them, and a lot of guys got broke off on 80 pounds. And the skipper said, you guys might want to step it up and go to 100 pounds. And I listened, and that was able for me to land that 200-pound bluefin tuna.
Oh, congratulations, Cliff. That's awesome. And that was it. That was such the call, and we talked. That's something that gets brushed over all the time. But, those guys that are telling you are there every single day and watching it happen. And, in this big fish fishing, it's different than catching. It's different than catching 50-pounders. And, people get so worried about, I got to get a bite. I need to fish lighter line so I can get a bite. And especially fishing a big lure like a flat fall, you just don't need to. Lighter line isn't going to make the difference of getting a bite, but what the difference is when you hook a fish that's of that size, the percentage when you go down in line size to fish that make it onto the boat just drops so drastically. We see it on long-range trips. The number of fish that got caught between 100-pound and 130-pound is staggering. And then the number from 100-pound to 80-pound, it's just, when you get one of those real big ones, a 200-pounder online that's less than 100-pound, it's staggering the difference.
It's just not
You
meant
gotta
for it.
fish heavy.
I'd rather not get a bite than to hook the fish on the wrong gear. That's just me. I mean, and people always ask us, come up to me and go, I want to fish this light line, and I'll be honest, and I tell my passengers all the time, you don't impress me when you catch fish on light line. That's not impressive to me. What's impressive is how many bites you can get on the heaviest line possible. That tells me you're picking out good baits and you're fishing hard. And with the flat balls, like anything else, you got to stick with it. A lot of guys, they fish it 3-4 times, and I didn't get a bite. Well, you got to fish it. I mean, we're still fishing. It's not you don't just put it in the water like the helicopter lures or what was the other one, the flying lure, and it's an instant bite in the bathtub. I mean, it doesn't work that way. So you got to stick with it. Whatever you do, fish with confidence and stick with it, and you're just upping your odds at actually, hooking a fish when you do that.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Cliff was a great example of that because he caught his fish. Just, stuck with it and caught it on the flat ball.
That's awesome. Cliff,
can I make a suggestion, too? One of the things that also helped me out, too, that Shimano came out, they stepped their game up. They came out with the bigger flat ball with the 200 gram, 250 gram.
250s.
And that's what I use. And let me tell you, the fish swallowed that baby. You guys should have a picture on that boat of that fish with that jig in his mouth.
That's cool.
And you can see how far that he had it in there. And me having that 100-pound string is what made me land that fish.
That's awesome, Cliff. Well, congratulations. It is. That's a heck of a fish. And they're out there again. It's time to go get another.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Cliff. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thanks a lot for that. How about we jump back in and talk to Mike? He's calling us from San Carlos this morning. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Mike.
Mike, good morning.
Good. I was at San Clemente about 10 days ago, and we saw all these porpoises. At least we thought they were, but they weren't. They were like big tuna. And we threw everything, bait, poppers, flat falls, nothing. And they were bumping the boat. So my question is it legal to take a harpoon or a crossbow?
It definitely is not. No, that isn't a legal means of take of tuna on a boat like you'd be going on right now. You just have to have a lesson in frustration. And if you want to deal with that, the best person to talk to be the guy sitting right next to me right now. Because, Mark, I don't know how many days you guys have had to watch that. They're bluefin, and they don't all bite. And we all hear about the stories of success, but I know you and all your colleagues on the water have 100 times this season more stories of watching those giant foamers not want to bite than, obviously when you get on the right ones, it's as cool as they come in the world.
Yeah.
But, man, is it frustrating watching those things.
It is.
But what I tried was I put a 16-ounce weight in a big hook, and I snagged one, and that's not the way to catch it.
And that's definitely not a legal way of catching it either.
Yeah.
So.
Might want to keep that one to yourself. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess I got to put my harpoon away.
Yeah, unfortunately, no harpoons. But I can. We all get it though, man.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've all thought the same thing. It's a frustrating thing to watch.
I was going to jump in.
Now that would be a legal way
That's
of taking.
legal.
Yeah, you jump in the water and shoot one with a spear gun, you're all good. So if they don't bite your hook and line, that should be the way to go.
The caveat emptor to that is that there has been a lot, and I've seen more big makos this last couple. We saw one at Santa Barbara Island on a 2-day trip. I ran on the Commander, and the thing came up, and I swear it was such a big mako. We looked at it, a couple of our passengers were like, "Oh, we want to try to catch that thing." I said, "You guys don't want nothing to do with that fish." Well, that thing is 8, if not 900 pounds. And, what we have seen a lot, and we haven't talked about, and we got so little time left in the show, is the amount of swordfish that we've seen. If I had a private boat right now, that's what I would be doing. I would be strictly fishing for swordfish because we have seen no shortage of swordfish. We started seeing the hammerhead sharks, which is a good sign. But with that green water around, we've seen that swordfish. And if it was me, that's what I would be doing. And these big bluefin are cool, but the swordfish is the fish of all fish, it's one I've added to my repertoire. It's one I'd like to catch here in the Eastern Pacific. And there's quite a bit of them around. I've seen white sharks offshore too. I almost ran over one. It was right at the surface swimming around. I almost ran over a swordfish and then a white shark the same day. It was just green water that they were in, and they just couldn't see see us, or we couldn't see them, low light conditions. So. I'd be a caveat about jumping in the water. There's been a lot of big makos, not these little guys, and there's been a lot of those, but big makos.
Real deal. Seal
deal. So be safe if you're jumping in the water.
Mike, appreciate the phone call very much. Trust me, we know how frustrating it is, but you're going to get one. You keep going, you're going to get your shot at those things for sure.
Yeah, you will.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy is going fishing on the Commander. Mike, it might be you. Your next trip might be on the Commander. Catch your Cal right there. When we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We're going to find out who that lucky winner is. You stay tuned. It is Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
This is Rick Jensen with Sport Fishing Financial. I think most of you get that I'm a fisherman and work with the fishing community, but to understand exactly what Sport Fishing Financial does, ask yourself these 4 questions. First, do you really know how much money you'll need in order to retire comfortably? Next, do you know how much you'll have to save on a regular basis to reach that number? Do you have a process that includes a proven investment strategy and confidence that the money you save will grow? Last, do you have a plan for how to turn your savings into retirement income? If you don't have good answers to these questions, you're not alone, but you should, and I can make sure you do. In addition, if you own a business and currently provide or are planning on providing a retirement savings plan for yourself or your employees, we should really talk. We offer an outstanding variety of creative solutions that are sure to meet your needs.
Some of our listeners may feel overwhelmed. Others may believe they are already doing the best they can. In either case, I bet Rick can help. Set a time to meet with him and start planning for your personal or business investment success. Find Rick on the web at sportfishingfinancial.com or give him a call at 949-481-1807.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 55 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built for ultimate performance on the water. From our next-generation fishing shorts like the Tactical Camo or Stealth Shorts to our AF Block sun protection shirts like the Fish Ninja and Samurai Sun Hoodie, the entire AFCO clothing lineup is purpose-built with the latest AFTech fabrics and designed with functional features to deliver top performance for the demanding angler. Visit www.afco.com to find a dealer near you.
If the fish are biting, I'm on my boat, rain or shine. Of course I wear my life jacket. It's like wearing a seatbelt. Clip it on, grab my tackle box, and hit the water.
Love California, Boat California, Save California. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. All right, the big winner going fishing aboard the Commander on an overnight trip coming up this season is Irv in Claremont. Irv was hanging on the line there. We always say, too, anybody that is left on the line, always eligible for that trip. And Irv, congratulations, and you are going to have a blast fishing aboard the Commander. Mark, can't begin to thank you enough for hanging out with us, spending some time. I know that this is a very, very busy time of year for you, but we really appreciate you coming and hanging and talking some.
Thanks for having us in here, man. It's always fun to come in here, and thanks for everybody that called in and listened. And for those of you guys that didn't get your questions answered, my cell phone number is right on our website there. To go ahead and give me a call, and we can talk off the air too.
There's a lot going on that you and your partner Chris do. We didn't even talk about some of the other things you do. Privateer runs Seaforth every day, multiple times a day. You guys have a year-round whale watch trip, which I know we're fishermen, but, get to go out, experience the ocean, friends in from out of town. That Privateer is an awesome trip. We hardly got a chance to mention that.
Yeah, 3-hour whale watch trips every day, 10 o'clock and 1:30. Come out and see blue whales, and we saw yellowfin and bluefin offshore, and hammerhead. So it's kind of cool because we get to see a lot of things that are close to home before a lot of people see it. So that's kind of cool. It's been a great ride for us there at Seaforth, and we continue that relationship. So. And
then also you have another boat, little bay cruise thing that is a new thing you're getting started on, the Ohana, right?
Yeah, the boat's name is Ohana, and it was cool. The boat was built by the Wrigley family in 1960. It's a really, really cool boat. Come check it out. We do 75-minute bay cruises and sunset cruises, and if you guys are coming down, put your gear on the boat on the Eclipse before any other boat at Seaforth and come walk down the walkway towards the Hyatt. We're docked down there. Come jump on the boat and have a couple cocktails before you get on the boat while you're waiting, and it's a fun experience. You got people from out of town. It's a good little thing to do.
That's awesome. Well, I certainly dig that. And, again, we talked about it all morning. Not an easy thing because you guys stay so busy, but still opportunities to go on charters and open party trip. If somebody wants to go fishing, get the Eclipse experience you've been talking about all morning long, how do we do that?
Yeah, just call us directly if you're looking for a charter, 619-518-8701 on any one of the two boats that we have there, the Commander and the Eclipse. And now would be the time to do that. Don't wait. And if you're looking for open party trips, Eclipse Sport Fishing, Commander Sport Fishing, and, of course, Seaforth Landing, and we hope to see everybody out on the water here soon.
We said it a bunch that it's busy and it's hard to get onto, but that doesn't mean that you can't get onto it. Call the office, get on trips. You do have open party trips that do come up.
Yeah.
Check the websites. I mean, they're just because it's busy doesn't mean that there's not opportunities to come fishing because you owe it to yourself. You guys do an awesome, awesome job, and I love it, and the boats are so comfortable. I mean, you hear phone call after phone call talking about how much they like fishing on the Eclipse. There's a reason.
Yeah, and thank you guys for everybody that comes out fishing with us. One thing we didn't even talk about was the local wahoo that are starting to show up, guys that I know and guys that I take stock in what they say, have seen them on the kelps,
It's happening.
And they've hooked a couple. Somebody's going to land one here real soon. So, this fish seems like it's filtering in from the far western Pacific already, coming in from the South Pacific, and I wouldn't wait.
Awesome.
I just wouldn't.
Mark, we sure appreciate it. Great job. Appreciate that. And we appreciate you listening this morning. Had a great time. Tomorrow morning, another great show coming for you. Let's Talk Hookup. Captain Drew Card from the Pacific Queen is going to be with us. We're going to be talking all kinds of fishing, talking fun, and I want to say a big thanks to Adam and Ryan for taking care of us on the other side of the glass. And you stay tuned. Up next, another great show. Craig Elston and Andrew Burr are going to be out at All-Star Fan Fest. That's coming up next. You stay tuned. Let's Talk Hookup. Another great show coming for you tomorrow morning from 7 to 9 right here on the Mighty 1090.